A lot of people are already talking about this, but I just figure it's funny because it's so stupid. And normally I don't really go into like this kind of gaming news type stuff. But, you know, I'm a big AI guy, so I figure laughing at game journalists when they're seething over AI is really funny. So this guy at Eurogamer rated this game Arc Raiders, and I know Paul Ladokin's a big fan of Arc Raiders. He loves it. He's playing it a lot. So this guy admits this game is really good. Rich PvE combat and unusually friendly community make Arc Raiders a more approachable extraction shooter than most. And then he decides to cry about AI voice generation. Yeah. Vibe coding. You know what? I'll let you in on a little something, Snap. I've been doing some AI-assisted coding, some vibe coding. And yeah, it's nice as a way to get a baseline. Like, so if you want some, like, base stuff, it's a good way to generate a starting point. But it is terrible at debugging. It is an absolute shit show when you're trying to debug anything. Exactly, yeah. It's great for prototyping. Yeah. Clanker Killer Clan Paul. Yeah. But yeah, so Eurogamer is all butthurt by the fact that this popular game decided to use AI to round out its content. So let's see. Yeah, so he spends a bunch of time talking about Arc Raiders, you know, how great it is, and so on, and gameplay and whatnot. Which is all good and fine, you know. And here we go. Here we go. So here's the part that we wanted to laugh at. Like Embark's previous shooter, The Finals, Arc Raiders displays considered design. Also like The Finals, this design is overshadowed by the specter of AI. Arc Raiders uses machine learning algorithms for its arc animations, and text-to-speech based performances generated from the voices of real actors. While I am deeply skeptical of AI use in game development, it's important to emphasize the nuances at play here. For starters, these two techniques are not the same. While Embark has further argued less convincingly that TTS is different from generative AI tools like ChatGPT. So he's literally just crying over the fact that they used AI to round out their game, when this is actually a good way to use it. I mean, it says text-to-speech based performances generated from the voices of real actors. So I'm guessing that they actually hired real actors to do voice, and then they just trained the AI based on their voices. So it's completely ridiculous. In fact, if anything, I think voice acting is a great usage of AI if you use it right. So now down here, he's so he's crying about how they used AI for the arc enemy animations. And he even admits that they have created emergent behavior in its enemies through reinforcement learning, enabling them to both move and react to terrain and player behavior in highly realistic ways. It's an interesting technology, and the effects it produces during matches are undeniably convincing. So that's good. It means AI was actually used really well in this situation. And so he doesn't like the voice lines because he says their voices are flat and emotionally blunted aside from the occasional bizarre inflection that reveals their robotic roots. So Embark claims it uses AI voices so the studio can implement ideas quicker, creating new voice lines in hours, instead of having to go through the longer process of manual re-recording and rehiring actors. NPC voices are not central to the experience. So there you go. NPC voices are not central to the experience, so I don't think this argument holds water. Wait, but that's the thing. His argument doesn't hold water either. If NPC voices are not central to the experience, then why does it matter? Why does it matter if they're AI to begin with? Because this is what, and this is in my opinion where AI really should go, should be used for something like gaming. I think the best way to use it for is for something like voice acting, but it shouldn't be, especially in like let's say you have like an RPG, right? RPGs are full of text and voice, and a lot of times going through the text can be kind of a slog, especially if all you have are just like a bunch of text boxes. But then in terms of voice line, with voice lines, you run into the issue of you have so many voice lines that it becomes impractical to have an actor record them all. And it's especially bad with like a voice protagonist, right? This is one of the things that people weren't happy about with Fallout 4 because the voice protagonist meant that a lot of the gameplay choices had to be reduced because they could only record so much dialogue. This solves the problem. Have your voice actor record the main quest lines and things like that. You know, all the important voice lines, you still have your voice actor record. Then, for your secondary lines, like, you know, just call-outs, minor side quests, and things like that, you can then have AI generate dialogue voices for those lines, because those lines are not central to the game experience. And in that way, you can get a fully voiced RPG without having to waste all the time that you would if you had to have the actor doing the voice lines for every little thing. So that frees you up to focus on the core of the game, and then the secondary stuff, AI will take care of for you. And now he's crying here. Is Embark's use of AI voices sufficient to compromise the game, given they're only a small part of the experience? Obviously, the answer should be no. But he says, I mulled over this for a while, and the more I thought about it, the angrier I became. Because yes, using AI voices does compromise ARC raiders. Not just ethically, but artistically too. So he's crying, basically he's crying about the fact that the game is about fighting a race of hostile robots and acting like AI. Yeah. You made a game about the tragedy of humans being replaced by robots while replacing humans with robots. Why are you crying about this? This is not the same thing at all. Yeah, what really makes my noodle isn't so much of what makes ARC raiders compelling, drives from human voices, the guy I mentioned at the outset. Wasn't just what he said that stuck with me, it was the way he said it, irrepressibly cheerful and endearingly goofy, drawn out. It was as distinctive and memorable as the way Matt Berry says New York City, as in What We Do in the Shadows. In fact, I tried to think of an actor I would compare it to, but failed because nobody else would have said it like that. Well, maybe that's something good. Sounds like it's memorable. Yeah, he says that only makes Embark's use of AI voices more abhorrent. For ARC raiders to ride the wave of human sociability all the way to the bank, while also being so contemptuous of the thing that makes us social animals in its own workflow, carving up human voices and reassembling them like a digital Victor Frankenstein, demonstrates a lack of artistic integrity that I find impossible to ignore. However smartly designed ARC Raiders is, I cannot recommend it, because Embark does not value the thing that makes it special. Like, this is just such a stupid argument. Here. I'm curious what this poll is going to say, by the way. So I'm going to say, okay if it doesn't replace human input. Yeah, so, I mean, it's somewhat split, but he only got 30% on what I assume is his answer. And everyone else is okay with it in some form. And so he gives this game 2 stars out of 5, despite the fact that he's basically gushing over it toward the beginning. Only because only because they used AI for some of the voices. That's it. This is just some of the saddest coverage of anything I've ever seen. It's pathetic. Like, AI is going... I don't want AI making games, but using AI for stuff like this is the perfect use of it. Things like improving localization. Things like, handling small-time voices or, minor graphical elements. Great, I would highly recommend it. Yeah, Eurogamer is seething over AI being used in a video game and being used really well. Yeah, not really sure what more you can say about this, except this guy is coping and seething.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.